So, have you ever wondered if ancient scripture could possibly have anything to say about, of all things, modern space travel? Well, today we're diving into a really fascinating and, yeah, highly speculative theory that connects a mysterious vision from the Bible directly to NASA's Artemis program. The one that's aiming to put humanity back on the moon, but this time for good. It's a pretty wild ride, so let's just jump right in. Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with a strange vision of a woman in the stars, then explore a prophecy about two sticks becoming one. After that, we'll unpack the symbolism of the sun and the moon. And then, this is where it gets crazy. We'll connect all of that to a potential lunar refuge and what NASA is doing right now. All right, our journey kicks off in the book of Revelation with one of its most powerful and honestly most mysterious images, this incredible celestial woman. I mean, just picture that for a second. It's so dramatic. A woman literally wrapped in sunlight, standing on the moon with a crown of stars. For centuries, people have been debating who or what she represents. Right? Who is she? Is she the nation of Israel? Is she the church? Mary? Well, this particular theory makes a pretty bold claim. It says the key to unlocking her identity, it's actually found way, way earlier in the Bible. Do you remember the story of Joseph and his coat of many colors? He has this dream where the sun, his father, the moon, his mother, and 11 stars, his brothers, all bowed down to him. Well, this theory suggests that the 12 stars in Revelation are a direct callback to that dream. It identifies the woman as Israel, but through the very specific lens of Joseph's family. Okay, before we go any further, we have to get our heads around this concept. Typology. Think of it like finding echoes or foreshadowing in the text. A person or an event is seen as a type, a pattern that points to a bigger future reality. This idea is, well, it's absolutely central to this whole theory we're exploring. So, let's grab our next piece of the puzzle. We're jumping over to a pretty strange prophetic act from the book of Ezekiel. So the prophet Ezekiel is told to take two sticks and literally join them into one. One stick stands for the southern kingdom, Judah, and the other for the northern kingdom, which is identified with Joseph. Now, the traditional view here is pretty straightforward. It symbolizes the future political reunification of a divided Israel. But what if there's more to it? And this is where that idea of typology comes roaring back. This theory suggests that this union isn't just political. It's also nuptial. It's a symbolic picture of a wedding. So here's the crucial point. If Christ comes from the line of Judah, the Lion of Judah, then his bride, in this symbolic model, is drawn from that other stick, the house of Joseph. So the great regathering of Israel and the great wedding of the Lamb, they might just be two ways of describing the exact same epic event. Now let's see how the symbolism of the sun and the moon from the very first pages of Genesis builds on this whole idea. The creation story sets up this really clear symbolic order. Right? The sun is the greater light. It rules the day with its own brilliant light. The moon is the lesser light. It rules the night. But, and this is the key, it has no light of its own. It only reflects the sun. And you can probably see where this is going. The theory uses this to illustrate the human counterparts. The sun is seen as a type of Christ, the source of all light. And the moon then becomes the type of the bride, the church. The idea is that she has no glory of her own, but exists purely to reflect his. And she's given authority to rule precisely when the world is at its darkest, during the night. And this is the moment where all these symbolic threads twist together into a truly astonishing claim. We're basically shifting from metaphor to a potential moonshot. So, back to Revelation 12. After we see this vision of the woman, we're told she flees from her enemy. She goes into the wilderness, to a place specifically prepared by God to keep her safe. For 2,000 years, this has almost always been interpreted as, a metaphor, a spiritual safe place here on earth. But what if it's not a metaphor at all? What if it's a literal physical place? And here it is, the most speculative, most mind-bending part of this entire theory. The claim is that the wilderness is a literal, divinely prepared refuge on the moon, a place where the woman is truly physically beyond the reach of anyone on Earth. Okay, so how does this ancient, frankly wild theory suddenly find an echo in the headlines of today? Let's take a look. This brings us right to NASA's Artemis program. And this isn't just another mission to plant a flag and come home. No, its stated goal is to establish a lasting human presence, to build the infrastructure for permanent life on the moon. And the name Artemis? Not an accident. She's the mythological twin sister of Apollo. Now, this timeline is where the theory suggests something called a historical kairos, which is basically a divinely opportune moment. Think about it. The Apollo missions, humanity's first steps on the moon, happened just 2 years after Israel recaptured Jerusalem in the Six-Day War. And now, the Artemis missions, which aim to make the moon a permanent home, are ramping up. So let's just quickly walk through the logic one more time. 1. The woman from Revelation is identified as Israel through Joseph's dream. 2. The bride is symbolically linked to Joseph's house. 3. The moon is her symbolic domain. 4. Her flight into the wilderness could be a literal escape. And 5. The Artemis program is right now building the exact kind of technology that would make such an escape possible. Now, it's absolutely vital to be clear here. The sources for this explainer present this not as a surefire 100% prediction. It's framed as a typological resonance. It's like a potential pattern that's being woven through history, science, and scripture. A pattern that, if it's even real, might only be fully understood after the fact. And really, that leaves us with the final big question. Is this convergence of ancient prophecy and modern space exploration just a massive, unbelievable coincidence? Or could it be a pattern of providence, an echo across millennia, preparing a way of escape that literally no one could have ever imagined? It's a pretty fascinating thought to chew on.